Alright guys, so today I got a follow-up to a video I made almost a year ago now, I think it was, back when Tokyo Clanpool was initially released in English. And if you remember at the time, there was a whole controversy since there was some struggles in Eastasiasoft's attempt to release this game in English. On the Switch, they ran into Nintendo's newly implemented censorship policies and were actually not able to release the game on the US or EU eShops like they originally intended to do, and wound up only being able to release the game physically as an Asian English release, and even that form of the game ended up being censored, as well as the PC release of the game also facing struggles with Steam not allowing the game, and them having to cancel that release and end up releasing it on GOG exclusively, still in the same censored form as the Switch version. So that caused a lot of issues at the time, especially since Eastasiasoft didn't actually inform people that this was happening before they actually purchased the game. Well, you just kind of found out on release. However, now almost a year later, we actually have a positive follow-up to this story, since Eastasiasoft has announced that they are going to release an Uncut edition of Tokyo Clanpool on PC. Now, this release is coming in two forms. We're actually getting the rare physical PC release that they are going to do a limited run of, as well as they're also going to make an off-site patch available for the GOG version of the game. So if you have already purchased the game and downloaded it, you will be able to get this patch and install it, and it will restore the cut content that was censored, the rubbing minigame that was in the original Japanese version. So we will be able to essentially uncensor the game, at least on PC. Now, the only negative to this story is, of course, that the Switch version is unfortunately going to remain in its censored state, as well as Eastasiasoft officially confirming that they are finally giving up and completely canceling the US and EU eShop releases, which I think they were still at least attempting to try to get a way to release it in some form or fashion on there. But apparently they weren't able to get around Nintendo's bullshit in any way. So those releases are confirmed canceled now, so if you do want it on Switch, you will have to import the Asian English version, and it will unfortunately still be censored. But if you do want the original uncensored version of the game available in English, you do have an option for that now. You just have to purchase it on PC and either grab this physical edition or get it off of GOG and get the patch. So, given the situation, I think this is probably the best we could have hoped for. Getting the game uncensored in any form at this point, I would consider a victory. So I'm glad that this is happening. I'm glad Eastasiasoft did make some kind of attempt to make this right. Obviously, it is less than ideal, but again, considering the circumstances, that's probably the best outcome we could possibly hope for. So it's nice that we are getting this finally. Now, as for the physical PC release, they are releasing a limited edition for it. I think they only said there's going to be 1,000 copies of this, I believe. Which this is going to be available on both Play Asia as well as Eastasiasoft's new online store that they recently opened. So you can purchase it from either place. On their online store, it's going to be $50. The pre-orders aren't open quite yet. I think they open the 22nd, so in a day or two here. Now, they are taking the route that I've seen several other physical PC releases take recently, where the physical copy of the game is just the game on a USB drive, which I guess realistically is probably the most practical way to do physical PC releases at this point. It still feels kind of weird to me. I think we're gonna live to regret, making disk drives non-standard on PCs at some point. But yeah, I guess that's really the only realistic way you can make a physical PC release at this point. But it comes with a custom USB drive with a copy of the game on it, as well as a bunch of extra goodies, which, if you compare this one to the physical Switch limited edition that was released a year ago, Most of the extra stuff in this does seem to be the same. The art book and the soundtrack and stuff seem to all be the same. They did add some acrylic standees, as well as the poster and the little certificates of authenticity, having some more lewd artwork showing off some stuff from the, censored content. So, since I already purchased the physical limited edition Switch version of the game, I'm probably not gonna double dip on this, since most of the stuff seems the same as the stuff I already have. I'm not a huge acrylic standee person in general, so I don't care about that too much. And again, that extra artwork isn't a huge change. So I probably won't be picking this up. If at some point I can catch it on GOG on a good sale, I might buy it digitally and then just download the patch, so that way I can have an uncensored version of the game. But yeah, I can't really justify dropping another $50 on this when I already bought the Switch LE a year ago, and most of this is the same. So yeah, me personally, I probably won't be getting this, but I am glad that Eastasiasoft is going through with this and getting us an uncensored version of the game in some form or fashion. And I'll give them the extra brownie points for doing a physical PC release in any fashion, since that is definitely a rarity in this day and age as well. And as someone who's a big fan of physical content, I definitely can appreciate that. So yeah, I think it's a really good thing that we got a at least somewhat happy ending to this story, as happy as we can expect, I guess. So unfortunately, there still is no real new information or updates on the whole Nintendo censorship situation. We don't really have any more exact details on that, and there definitely doesn't look like it's going to be coming to an end anytime soon. So we still had to deal with Nintendo's nonsense, but at least for this one game, we did find a way to get its original artistic integrity form released into the wild in some fashion. So I am glad about that. It would be nice if someone could maybe make a fan English patch for the game now, for the Vita version of the game. That would be cool. That way people with, modded Vitas, which is pretty much everyone with a Vita at this point, would be able to play the original Vita version of the game in English as well, which of course would also, be uncensored. But yeah, a mostly positive ending to this story, which in this day and age with, these fan servicey games getting attacked from pretty much every angle, is definitely something we should savor. So anyway, I guess that's all I got to say, so lots of luck to you and yours.